Sometimes when I record more complicated runs, I voice over them to try and explain what happened. And we're not doing that today. Instead, we're doing everyone's favorite kind of content, a YouTuber whining about video games. And the topic of today? This was a really shitty event, gameplay-wise. I don't know about the story, new characters, that doesn't interest me, but from a gameplay perspective I really didn't enjoy both the event mechanic or the boss itself. I think it's one of the least favorite events for me, only comparable to the Chen event, but I really hated the mechanic in Chen Outer while the boss itself was kinda fine, so maybe this one is worse for me. There's nothing egregiously bad that will piss you off, but for me it was just an incredibly boring event. If I had to pick, I'd rather an event be frustrating and annoying than just boring. You know, the opposite of love isn't hate but indifference, that sort of thing. The map itself is a good example of everything I hate about it. Putting the boss itself aside, sitting in the corner and doing nothing, at least the challenge mode mitigates that, but then again, his DPS is shit, so you just bait every attack away with gravel, tentacles and beanstalk. It's probably a 7 or 8 operator that I'm not gonna bother recording. Maybe still remains 6 if somebody actually puts in the effort. Anyhow, yeah, it's probably 6 actually, because you can bait enough attacks away with deep cover. And since the Steam Knights cannot pick up the relics, as long as you deploy the medic before Quoro, she can just face tank the boss just fine. You need to switch Perfumer to a better medic, but yeah, it's 6 operators. I'm thinking about runs I'm not gonna do. Back to whining about it. So, let's just analyze this map really quick. You have a bunch of trash mobs on the side, 2 drones and 3 melee enemies in the middle. After that you just have Steam Knight, that either you DPS immediately if you can. I can do that, but it takes 1 more operator, so we just block them and that's it. After you block Steam Knight and kill all the trash mobs, and Steam Knight is easy to block at T1, you just need to shoot the boss, because he's a DPS check. Funny thing about the boss being a DPS check, you know how bosses like him and the German dude that teleports around have abilities where the map ends after a certain few seconds? Yeah, here's the thing, with Alistair you can just silence it for some reason. Like, you could just drop Jaya S1 on his head and he'll never be able to end the map. Why though? That's so stupid. Like, he's not even a DPS check and doesn't even do anything. You can see just how long the tentacles tank him for. The boss is gonna die before I go through a full cycle of deep cover tentacles, and the wolves are even helping kill them. The boss just doesn't have DPS. Sure, he has about 1200 attack or something, and some skills, but they all amount to throwing some physical damage nuke. Or maybe it's arts, I don't know. Who cares? Boss is dead. Like, the boss just doesn't do anything. And I feel like the event mobs don't do anything either, so I was just profoundly bored during this event. Normally my method for selecting what stage I'm gonna optimize is I just play it blindly with 4 stars. If it happens to kill me, then I was like, that's a pretty good stage, let's see what we can do here. This time I just didn't lose by just throwing 4 stars randomly, so I was really bored during the event. I never really felt challenge. Like, when I play with 6 stars when I don't want to play some event, obviously I just throw a bunch of 6 stars, press the red buttons and win, that's how it works. I play 4 stars so I don't do that, so when it happens with 4 stars I feel like, what's the point of the event even? That was my experience here. Playing with 4 stars felt like playing with 6 stars, because the enemies didn't do fucking anything and just died to little damage. They gain buffs if they pick them up, except the good enemies like Steam Knight, they can't pick up the buffs for some reason, so you don't even have to worry about that. But even when the enemies get the buffs, they will lose them after you smack them a couple of times. And since your ranged operators are gonna hit them before they reach your melee operators, the buffs end up doing fuck all 90% of the time. Pretty silly event. The Steam Knight here has less stats than H11 for Steam Knight, even if you are playing the CM. In the normal mode, Quora and Perfumer can just tank it infinitely. If I was less lazy, I could time it, so Quora doesn't actually die from my swappiness, but I don't care. We'll just throw some bodies and get rid of the Steam Knight. The only reason I'm not sure if it's 6 or 7 operators on challenge mode is because I might not kill the boss in time. And then I either bring Jaya S1 or some extra DPS to resolve that. But it's only like 15,000 extra health. And I had about 10... If I do it optimally, I have 10 seconds to spare. I suppose I lose some time from actually killing the drone, so yeah. It'll probably be closer to 7. But on the other hand, I know Mei is just a bad pick for this map. I just picked her because I'm lazy, and she worked. Oh, the map ended.